The Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICCLending.com. For real estate service, please go to ICCLending.com.
3, 2, 1.
Every human came to earth with a gift, and they must discover that gift and refine that gift for them to be fulfilled.
The prerequisite for spending time with any person is that they nourish and inspire you. They feed your flame.
Yo, hey man, how you work this radio?
You're not listening to the Tie and Hoodie Show.
Keep it locked.
Owning a home and paying it off is one of the data points of an everyday millionaire.
Home sales across the U.S. are on the rise as buyers take advantage of record low mortgage rates.
Good morning. Now let's get back to the Tie and Hoodie Show.
Good morning. It's the Tie and Hoodie Show on 93.5 KDA right here each and every Sunday morning, 6:30 to 7 a.m. You can't get it any better than this on a Sunday morning to start your week off on a positive note. If you missed any of our past shows and you love this information and love our guests as far as the information they provide, or even want to talk to me or Andrew, it's www.tieandhoodieshow.com, tieandhoodieshow.com. As always, this show and all shows are sponsored by ICCLending.com, where, hey, it's the one-stop shop for all your home loans, refinance, VA loans, FHA loans, it doesn't matter. We got all your loans and great customer service at ICC. I'm Trevon Smith, also known as Trey, and here's my co-host, Mr. Andrew Jesse Coble. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Good morning. Happy New Year again.
Happy New Year as always.
I'm going to keep saying Happy New Year to you every week until, I guess, February is over. It's still Happy New Year. We made it. We actually made it to 2021. How's that?
We made it to 2021. Some people say, we'll get a little laugh in with our guest, Mr. Pierre, and I'll give him the proper introduction. Some people say it's December 37th. And so, hey, 20, but we're trying to keep it positive. That's what we're here for, the Tie and Hoodie Show. I love our shows. I love all our guests. The information that we receive out of each show is overwhelming. Some people may say, oh, yeah, right. But I'm telling you, go back and listen. Check out the shows. There's guests there every week that help you out either with business. Today's guest I'm excited about because it's that season.
Yes.
It's about to be that season, Andrew. He specializes in advanced tax strategies, financial planning. He's done business literally all around the world. He has some professional basketball background I want to talk about. He's the owner and principal at Pierre Accounting. Mr. Eric Pierre, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Good morning. Thank you for having me in the show. We're just getting ready for the upcoming tax season. And I agree with your colleague. I'm going to continue to say Happy New Year. And it's also a way to not think about 2020 by saying Happy New Year.
Yes. Mr. Pierre, I've been following, I get your tidbits on LinkedIn and I'm on your email list, and always valuable information. Anytime you get information from a tax expert or professional, it's always, something like you better read it because you never know. So yeah. I want to thank you all for the past 5 years. I've been following your content, and I know you're coming to us today as you're more casual. I'm used to seeing you in a suit, all dressed up, GQ'd up. Mm-hmm. Now you're like, I'm just going to be casual,
I see that polo, Mr. Pierre. I see that polo.
Well, it may look casual, but the pricing for this is anything but casual. Okay,
I know.
I'm used to seeing you in a double-breasted, three-breasted, all the suits and all the blings. I'm like, oh well.
Well, part of it too. I have to confess, I'm also working my way back into those suits right now as well. So I want to give a shout out to my friends Michelle and Drew Lasker. They challenged me last year to start leaning down, and I lost a good amount of weight. And now I'm looking forward to losing the rest of it because look, we're all Black men, and they say that COVID-19 hits us harder. So in the pandemic, when I saw what's going on, it's like, you know what? I'm now 40. I don't look like the pro player I used to. I need to change that. I want to be able to enjoy the fruits of my labor. So,
that's really humble of you saying that. I mean, people are listening on the radio right now. Some people are watching us directly on YouTube. I mean, they don't understand that it's not easy for somebody to come out and say, I need to drop some weight. I need to eat healthy. I need to take care of myself. It's not just all about making money. You make all this money and you end up paying the doctor 80% of what you make. What's the purpose of that?
Exactly. And, I started looking at older pictures of myself. I remember a few years ago, it's like, I modeled for Dennis Haysbert in LA. I said, I don't look like that guy right now. I mean, I'm not that far off again, but it's a lot harder. And the thing is, it's just like in business or sports. It's about consistency. You have to have a consistent diet. And I'm so sedentary than what I'm used to. I can't eat the same things I used to when I played ball. And I used to run all those half marathons. Because now I run a multi-state, practice. So I have to watch what I eat more, and I'm adapting, I'm learning. It just takes time because, I didn't get out of shape overnight, and I'm not going to get back in shape overnight. But I would tell everybody listening, health really is wealth because, the price of healthcare is getting expensive. The one thing you can do to help lower it is to take care of yourself, because you can take care of 95% of your problems by watching what you eat and, maintain, a healthy weight.
And we talked, Andrew. We talked a little bit about that earlier. Me and you.
Our show last week was about, Travon came out saying, you know what? I said, what's your goal this year? What's 2 goals? And his first goal was to eat better and eat healthier. And we had a show about that last week, and that was one of the things we talked about. Is it's absolutely easier to eat unhealthy. Very, very easy.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing that's nice, though, to switch it back, this year with the new legislation, when you go out to eat for business, you can go to those healthy restaurants, and it's now 100% deductible for this year and in 2022. So now we can go support our business owners that do have healthy restaurants and get the tax deduction for our business at the same time. It's now 100%, not 50%. So now you have incentive to actually do that this year. There's no excuse for us not to do
it. There you go. So today we're going to talk about, you are the tax man. A lot of people are listening right now. This is towards the end of January. They're still kind of concerned that, it's tax season. Overall, just let's roll back a little bit. Tell us how long you've been doing this and what you really specialize in. Okay. Then we can take it from there.
Absolutely. So I've been practicing on my own for a little more than 5 years full time. I started my business as a side hustle. When a friend of mine was saying, you should start looking at your business in Houston. And then when I quit my corporate career, I was on vacation in San Diego, and I was going back and forth with San Diego, LA. And a friend said, Eric, you're a single guy. You just quit your corporate job. What is it you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to live in SoCal and run my own business. He said, then what's stopping you? So I moved out to SoCal, established our first office in San Diego, grew to practice, got my license in California in 2017. My Texas license I got way back in 2006. So I've been a licensed CPA it'll be 15 years in May. And then, we opened an office in LA in 2018. And then later in 2018, 2019, everything runs together. We established our headquarters in Austin for tax purposes. But most of our clientele are obviously in San Diego, Los Angeles. We love SoCal. We're saddened by the lockdown and everything going on. And what I specialize in are going to be, small businesses, middle market, also highly accomplished individuals and families or a higher net worth, earning, $1 to $2 million and up. And I also do financial statement audits out of our Texas office, and then also do forensic auditing which we can do that nationwide. In fact, in February, I'm going to be an expert witness for a client that's been falsely accused of fraud, and we wrote a report to show how they did not embezzle money from their business partner, and I have to go testify in a court case in downtown San Diego for 2 weeks about that.
Okay, because you kind of clarified to me right there, because I was like forensic, I was like, I knew that has something to do with legal. So
yes.
So now you guys do witnesses and validations and
right. You have to, you write a report, or I could be called up to testify about, accounting policy. But we actually wrote a report, and I have to go defend it now because the other side, they've hired a CPA, and they wrote their own report. So now we gotta,
the counter witness,
right.
counter expert.
Right. I'm confident. I'm very confident that we're gonna win. They put some things that were completely false, don't even follow accounting statements. But that's the kind of work I do. I once found in a neighborhood in San Diego an HOA where a property manager stole $350,000 from the residents over a 10-year period.
Wow. So let's go back and talk about what you do, because we're talking about taxes. It applies to everybody in the country, right?
Yes.
There's some exception or whatever, but if you don't make money, but if you make money, the government wants part of your money. Let's start from scratch and just ask that question. Let's talk about people who are middle class, who, are listening to the show right now and saying, I need advice with taxes. I haven't filed taxes in 2 years, or I'm paying too much taxes as somebody who's self-employed. What would be your advice for them?
Well, the first thing I would say is that, there's no one size fit all. I would definitely say make an appointment with a tax pro, whether it's myself or somebody that you know and trust. If you're self-employed, we would look at, for instance, we just spoke with a realtor who's self-employed. They're making about $150,000, $175,000 a year at a 60% profit, and they were filing the wrong status. And by them hiring us, we're going to save them $30,000 a year. They were overpaying a self-employment tax, and they were missing other tax deductions. So you want to meet with a tax pro, such as myself, to go over those things, because right now the tax code has about 475, 480 tax deductions. For people that are not self-employed, that are individuals, we want to look at your withholdings on your pay stub. You also want to consider the fact that there are W-2 earners that have assets, whether it's in the stock market where they're getting dividends and they're redeeming stock, or they have commercial real estate, whether they're renting out a property, multifamily, single. And so we have to look at the whole picture. But I think every year we overpay our taxes by about $2 to $3 billion a year. Wow. And whether you like the guy or not, so I'm going to say his name, so I hope I don't lose your audience, but the president in office recently, one of the things he did a good job was, with his wealth, he hired tax pros to find every tax break possible to where that his tax bill was $750. And, as an example, one of the things he did that was controversial, but it is actually legal. He was able to pay his daughter $750,000 for consulting fees, but people were outraged. But if you think about it, because his name is Trump and he's got a bad reputation on paying bills, if he called any of us to do consult, we'd ask for at least $2 million up front, because dude, we don't think we're going to get paid. We need that money up front, and they're going to ask for a lot more than that. And the tax code allows you to pay your family members, comparable rates to third parties. So there's so many strategies out there, and I don't want to bore you, but it starts with the compensation tax code, because two people making $5 million have completely different situations.
Now, because the demographics that we have might not even understand the value of $5 million in tax breaks.
I'm sorry.
No, and I understand that I say that with all due respect, because a person like me, I'm not anywhere close to that, but I'm still interested in the different variables and understanding the verbiage. But one question that we have from a listener, we let them know we're going to be, talking about taxes. They want to know a plain and simple question as far as the websites that people do taxes on. Do you recommend people doing their own taxes or still seeing a CPA, or is there a cutoff where you could do your own taxes online unless this applies?
Okay, that's a great question. And there's not, so this is my opinion, because I'm sure if you talk to other CPA, they'll tell you something different. If all you have is one W-2 and you make less than $100,000 and you don't own any property, you don't have any investments, then you should be able to go use a website, TaxAct, H&R Block, whatever those third-party sites are,
I got you,
and do it yourself.
Okay.
If your situation is that simple. But if you own real estate, you have, some investments out there, and, owning your own home, you own a second property, because, I have clients that make $40,000 a year that have multiple properties in real estate because they took advantage of things that the military offered for lending to go get that stuff. And there's things out there for people that don't make a lot of money to own, a lot of property. When you start having things like that, I would work with a tax pro.
Like a different
and you want to work with a CPA, because you have to understand, I know you're aware of this, well, a lot of people not everybody that does taxes is a CPA, and you don't have to be a CPA to do taxes. You could be, a CTEC in California, or a registered tax preparer, or you could be an enrolled agent. But CPAs are also held to higher standards and more accountability measures by state and national boards than everybody else.
Okay. That's good. That's good information right there.
Yeah, I agree with Trevon. I mean, you just took that question. I mean, exactly because there's different cases, there's different people. So personally, like myself now, I'm a business owner. I have an S corporation, right?
That's good.
So let's talk about that real quick. What should I be doing? I have an S corporation. I own a home. I own a couple businesses, 3 businesses that are S corporations. My plan is to buy at least one home every year in the next 10 years. What do I need to know?
Well, I would, so I'm trying not to give away all the secret sauces. I need people to call me. But what I would do...
Well, we're going to give you a number too so they can call you.
Right. Okay, so what we would do, I will look at your past 3 years tax filings and see if you've missed on tax deductions that are available, because we've had to amend tax returns, first of all. Second, we would look at, are you paying yourself enough salary? Because if you have 3 S corporations and you have enough profit, there's an expectation to have a salary. And if you're going to purchase real estate, I'm not a lender, but you get better loans when you have adequate salary out of your S corps or C corps than sole prop, because a lot of we have clients that are sole props. They get loans, they get the state interest loans, and those interest rates a lot higher, and you have to pay those payments for a year and a half before you can refinance. So we'd help you get appropriate salary. And then there's also tax strategies available where we can get your corporations to rent your home and pay you money, and that's a deduction of rent, and that rent money to you personally is tax-free, and it's in the IRS code. Now, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's legal. And we have clients that, they have multiple companies, and each company is giving them up to $28,000 a year in tax-free income. So if you have enough businesses and you have enough margin for 3, let's say 28 times 3, that's $85,000 tax-free income that you do not have to report your 1040, that we know how to document. It's in the code, and $85,000 a year for someone like you would help you make down payments on buying one property a year easily.
Secret sauce.
That's right.
So just so you know, I'm a mortgage lender.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about lending, I know about all of those strategies, so I understand. Now, before I hand it over to Trevor real quick, give us people are thinking, okay, who's this guy? How can I get in touch with him? What's your phone number? What's your, website? Can you do that real quick before we continue on the show?
Yes. Okay. So my name is Eric Pierre. I'm the owner of Pierre Accounting. If you want to contact us through our website is www.pierreaccounting.com. If you want to call us in San Diego, 619-800-6852. In Los Angeles, it's 310-365-2648. If you want to follow us online on Instagram, you can follow us at Pierre Accounting. On Twitter, it's Pierre CPA. And then on Facebook, you just type Pierre Accounting to find our page. And we also have a YouTube channel. If you just type Pierre Accounting, you'll find our YouTube channel. So we're pretty easy to find. So if you just type Eric Pierre CPA, you'll find me. There's not many 6'8" black CPAs in this country. Not that hard to find.
Okay. Well, how do you spell Pierre so people can understand?
Pierre, Pierre.
Pierre.
Okay.
Pierre, yes, sir.
Now, I had a two-part question. You was going over a lot of information. I'm more of a listener than I'm trying to absorb all this. So one question, as far as if people were not in the area where you do business, can they still do business with you?
Yes. I mean, we are licensed in California and Texas, but the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, or AICPA, allows CPAs to serve clients out of state remotely through the mobility rules. So if you're listening and you're, let's say, in Boise, Idaho, and you want to call me, we can serve you in Boise, Idaho.
Still provide service. And
right.
The second question is, we're going into tax season. What are some suggestions you would have for people making over 100,000 and people under 100,000, as far as for example, under 100,000, do they have to save their receipts, or they can do this and that? And then over 100,000, just a couple little secret, not too much of the secret sauce, just a little bit.
And just to make sure I answer your question, is it people making over 100,000 as self-employed or W-2?
You could use examples. Can we just do one for under 100,000 and then one for over 100,000? You can use whatever examples you want.
I appreciate that. Now, if you're making under $100,000 and you are self-employed, I would definitely make sure you keep. The IRS expects you to keep good books and records. There's free software out. There's inexpensive software such as QuickBooks Self-Employed that helps you keep track of your, expenses. And the reason I'm going to share that, particularly, the IRS just announced that they're going to be increasing audits by 50% of sole props and sole member LLCs. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be people with the under 100, over 100,000. You really want to keep your books and records straight, because the IRS is likely to contact you. And considering all the bailout money that's been given, the government wants to try to get some money back. So I would do that. If you're W-2, I would definitely reevaluate your withholdings and make sure that you paid attention, because there's some people that didn't pay attention when, President Trump passed laws that didn't require withholding payroll tax. They may not have had enough taxes taken out, and they may have a surprise tax bill this year. You don't want to get caught twice like that.
Okay.
So a question that I will ask more. I mean, obviously, I would like an opportunity, first of all, to come back and do another show. We're just doing an introduction here because it's relevant. Hopefully in another week or two, we'll come back and we'll have some more specific questions from our listeners.
Absolutely. You guys can contact me whenever you want.
Yeah. Because taxes is part of our lives. Right. So, which if somebody is self-employed, somebody who's selling donuts, making donuts, and they make really good donuts, and they're starting to sell it in the neighborhoods, or they sell lemonade, and the lemonade stand is growing. What is the best formation structure of a business? Is it LLC? Is it S Corp, or is it C Corp, or partnership? What will you suggest?
Man, you really had to ask me that today. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so I'll answer this way. if I'm in business by myself,
Mm-hmm.
starting out, you want to at least be an LLC, because the LLC will allow you to protect your personal assets versus your business. Okay. And then as it grows, as your business grows, then the structure can change. So for instance, you can be an LLC, you start making a lot of money. Like, you know, you mentioned you're a lender, you have realtors that start making a lot of money and they're a sales agent. So they could be LLC, then you can file as an S Corp to start saving on your payroll taxes. If you're in business with two other people, then you look at whether being a multi-member LLC or partnership. And it also depends also in your industry, because, you know, for instance, certain industries do not allow CPAs to be LLCs. You have to be a PC or APC. Same thing, medical professionals. Lawyers cannot be LLC. So the structure also has to make sense with what legally you can do in your industry. But if I'm running a lemonade stand selling donuts, I would at least start out as an LLC for the formation, because that's the easiest one to do. Of course, the downside is California, you have to pay that franchise tax $800 a year. And in a C Corp, we usually don't recommend that unless you're going to be publicly traded or you're going to have like over 100 investors and the business is a startup, or they're going to literally reinvest every dollar back into the company for the purpose of getting sold in a few years.
Okay. Mr. Pierre, you did not disappoint. It was so much information in that you could have that could have been a course. So
I actually have taught entrepreneurial courses with the National Society of Black CPAs.
Okay.
We're a new organization. We're looking to help increase the number of Black CPAs. I don't know if you noticed, less than 1% of CPAs are Black in this country, and that number is under 5,000. So I have taught an entrepreneurial course with my colleague Ignatius Jackson, who is a fellow CPA as well. So I've actually taught this stuff.
Can you give all that information out? Because we only got a couple minutes left, and where they can contact you at, and the CPA information for any young brothers coming up that you can influence, as far as like, hey, there's more out there than just being in sports or being a rapper.
Right. Right. I mean, of course, if the Lakers would give me $100 million contract, I would
you take it. Yeah.
But unfortunately, that didn't work out for me. But yes, the best way to contact me, you know, again, in case you missed it, my name's Eric, E-R-I-C, last name Pierre, P like a Peter, I-E-R-R-E. You can find me by typing pierreaccounting.com. You can also type my name, Eric Pierre CPA. You'll find my firm. You'll find everything. If you want to call us to talk about your tax situation, or if you're looking to get guidance on, you know, being a CPA, our office number in San Diego is 619-800-6852. In LA, it's 310-365-2648. You can find us on Instagram at Pierre Accounting, on Twitter at Pierre CPA. If you want to follow me personally on my Twitter account is Your Fave CPA. My personal Twitter account was voted top 100 must follow tax Twitter account by Forbes magazine last week for 2021. So whenever tax things happen, Forbes contacts me. Okay. If you go to our website, go to media section, you can find 8 interviews where I've been interviewed by Forbes. And there's also a podcast I did with Kelly Phillips Erb, who's a very influential writer, tax writer at Forbes. On our podcast, you can find that there as well.
Okay, that's great information.
Well, I am so, you know, again, there's a couple of things that I've received with your email marketing that I have actually used, and I saved it, I rebranded it. I'm like, this is good stuff, and I sent it out, and people are like, wow, you are so smart. Thank you so much. I'm like, well,
you're welcome, man. I might need to send you an invoice now.
Oh yeah, I know, huh? So, but I'm interested. I will definitely be a client. Definitely be reaching out to you, and I will really encourage anybody who's listening or who's watching on YouTube that absolutely you need educated advice. Especially of us who are minorities. We want to promote minority business. You need educational advice. You need people who you can trust to tell you the right absolute thing. And I want to really thank you for coming on. I will look forward to having this conversation again in the next week or so. Yes, thank you for having me. And one thing I just want to close with is like, no matter who you are, you should all, spend the money, invest in a tax professional, because look, the reality is we spend most of our time in our business or our job. And the stats keep saying that we keep overpaying. If you keep overpaying over time, that's generational wealth that you're throwing away. And that wealth that you're losing could be the difference between, you owning real estate or not, and making other income sources. So this is really important because you are going to be taxed, but the Supreme Court justice have even said that it is patriotic to arrange the affairs of your finances to pay as little tax as possible. See, tax mitigation is legal. Tax evasion, that's illegal. And there's court cases where judges have said this thing, but we have a lot of people that say different things. So I just thought I would share that, make that clear. So whether you work with me or not, I want to make sure that people understand that, because, our job is to help not only save taxes, but help you grow your wealth so that you can pass it on to the next generation, whether your idea of legacy is a bungalow or a skyscraper.
You heard it right here from Mr. Pierre. You can contact him more. Eric Pierre everywhere, Pierre Accounting everywhere. We'll have all his information up on the tieandhoodieshow.com. We want to thank all our listeners for checking us out each and every Sunday, 6:30 to 7 a.m. tieandhoodieshow.com. We'll see you guys next week. And all shows and every show is sponsored by ICClending.com. Thank you, Mr. Pierre, for coming on. Andrew.
Thank you for having me. Absolutely. Thank you.
You guys have a good one.
Hey, do you have valuable information that can help your community? Okay. And you'd like to be a guest? Hit us on our social media.
Do it now. The Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICClending.com. For real estate service, please go to ICClending.com.